Welcome back, everybody. We're going to be diving into our next set of topics, which is going to be EIGRP in this particular video. So my goal here is this is going to be demonstrating some redistribution and stuff like that. I'm also going to be removing the default route from the ASA and relying on a dynamically learned default route via OSPF, and then redistributing OSPF into EIGRP and EIGRP into OSPF. So let's go ahead and get that done. Excuse me. So I was able to reconfigure my interfaces. So now I should be able to go to, say, test 12 and ping 172.16.30.1, and momentarily it should... I hadn't validated any of this yet. It literally just got configured. So let's see what's going on here. Ping. Oh, I know. Let's take a look at switch 1 and the show MAC address table dynamic. Okay, so I should be learning everything. And so we do a show interface trunk, we should still have the port channel up. We should be able to leave the port channel in place because that's just local aggregation on the box. Let's see here. Let's ping 10.10, well, or 100.10.1. Okay, that worked. We're gonna work our way down the line here. Ping 10.100.10.1. So we'll have to figure out why this isn't working. So let's go look at switch 1 and show run interface gig0/3. Okay, that should be squared away. On test show IP route. Yeah, that should be right. So why is that not working? Let me do a show interface gig0/0 pipe include BIA. Burned in address 000A. 000A, gig 3. Okay, it's being learned. Let's see what the ASA sees. Show ARP. Let's ping 10.100.10.10. What about 11? Can 11 ping it? Ping 10.100.20.1. Okay, that can do it. And 12, we'll try that again. That's going to be kind of important once we get down the road, because I'm planning on forming EIGRP adjacencies with all these routers, and then they should learn a default route, and we will, once we get all that squared away. So let's do some troubleshooting right now, because we've got to get this to work. So let me scoot my keyboard down a little bit. So let us take a peek. And actually, you know what? It doesn't really matter, as I need to enable. Let's do global config. I'm going to type in IP routing, and we'll go global config, IP routing, and then 11, IP routing, and 12, IP routing. So we have all that back up and running. What I'm going to go do is on test 9, the IP addressing doesn't change, so that'll still be there. What I will do is I will go on ASA 1 and do a show run router OSPF, and as you can see, I've advertised the 100 and the 172.16 networks in. So I'm actually going to go to here and know out these statements. And know this. So now we will only have the 10.1.10 network in here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to type in router EIGRP1 and type in network of 10.100.0.0, 255.255.0.0, and I don't need to throw in the area, I just need to configure in the network of 172.16.30.0/24. And that's it. Now I get to go over to test 9 and type in router EIGRP1 and type in network of 10.100.0.0 0.0.0.0.255.255. Now I should form an EIGRP adjacency on test 9, and I do. Now I get to go do the exact same thing. So do show history, and do show run section EIGRP. And let's go ahead and take this line of config and do it here. And so I formed an adjacency with both. Well, that's a great sign. And then I will do the same thing. Cancel here as well because it's still on the 100 network. So I formed an adjacency with ASA1, and then I'm going to do the same thing over here, but I'll type in router EIGRP1 network of 172.16.30.0.0.0.255. Net, and if it forms an adjacency, I know that my VLAN information is good, and it is. So yes. So if I do a show IP route, I'm not going to learn anything, right? So here's what I'm going to do on ASA1. I am going to go ahead and now I'm under EIGRP. I'm going to type in redistribute OSPF 1, and then I'm going to say the metric. And in order for routes from OSPF to be redistributed into EIGRP, you need to give them a metric. The metric is how EIGRP is going to calculate those routes. So I'm going to say 100,000 plus a zero is a million, so 1 gigabit. It's going to be an increment of 1 microsecond or 10 microseconds. 255, 1, 1500. So I'll do that. I'll type in router OSPF 1. Type in redistribute EIGRP 1, and I'll say subnets. That's pretty much all I need to worry about. So now I'm going to go over to test 9, and there's a resynchronization, and I'll type in do show IP route, and I should, after a moment or so, I should learn some routes from ASAV1. Hopefully. Do show IP EIGRP topology. Okay, so I have that. What does ASA1 see? So I've redistributed those routes. Let's jump out of here and do a show EIGRP topology. So I have all of that. So those are in the routing table. It might just take a little bit longer than necessary. So let's go back to test 9. So I am not learning any routes from the ASA. So this is where we get into some troubleshooting situations and have to figure out what's going on and why it's going on. So okay, we have a problem. The peer is flapping. So this side is up. What does the ASA see? Show EIGRP neighbor. So we have with router 9, or I'm sorry, 10. We have an adjacency. But and there's a queue count. So there's some communication that's not working. So now, and this is, I've ran into this a little bit in the past when we were talking about how the operations go. This can be definitely a drawback. So there's a queue count, which means what's actually happening now is ASA1 is trying to talk to test 9, 10, and 11. And there's communication going back and forth. So what I should be able to do, I should be able to, on test 9, I should be able to jump out of global config and ping 224.0.0. And what's the address? It's 10, right? For EIGRP. I should be able to ping everybody else on my network. And I'm going to get a response from somebody, and I'm thinking it's going to be .10. We'll see here in just a minute. And it is .10. So I'm not forming an adjacency. If I ping 10.100.10.1, I can ping it, and if I look at the show IP EIGRP neighbors, I see that with ASA1 I am failing to form an adjacency. Now they're sending EIGRP hellos and stuff like that, but what's happening is ASA 1 is not replying. And so I know that's the fact because I got an adjacency with router 10 or test 10. So let's go over to ASA 1 and figure out why this isn't working. So let's see here. Let's do a show run router EIGRP. Is there anything that I'm missing that would need to be in play here? Doesn't look like it. Router 12 is flapping as well. So let me go on ASA 1 and let me go to global config and type in logging enabled. And so I want to see what's happening from an operations perspective. Why is the traffic not working? Did I forget to do something? It's certainly possible, but my thought process is no. So we're seeing 10 go down, retry limit exceeded, tear down. So it's trying to. Let's do a show ARP. And I can resolve the ARP address of everything inside of 9, 10, 11. Let me go ahead and on 9, let me go ahead and just clear IP EIGRP neighbors. So it's going to manually clear what's happening. Now if I do the show IP EIGRP neighbors, I'm still getting the ASA is not forming an adjacency. So if I was to ping, let's say ping 224.0.0.10, and let's say repeat it 3 times, do I get a response from anybody? Whole lot of nothing. So what that tells me is I've ran into this problem a couple times in the past where I've had, so I just have an adjacency here with 10. So 10 came up, but I don't believe that. Do show IP EIGRP neighbors. And yeah, even though it came up, there's still a queue count. This is what it should look like right here, but it doesn't. So one of the things I'm going to have to do here, I'm going to go on a limb here and try to do the multicast routing. Just enable that globally. The reason why I'm doing the multicast globally is because now it's going to I'm not sure if it's a communication issue or not. So what I'm going to go do is on test 9. Okay, I don't think that's... So my intention was to go through and get OSPF or EIGRP enabled to do some redistribution, do some basic stuff like that. But apparently that's not going to work. So I'm not sure entirely why it's not working. But if I was to come in here and show MAC address table dynamic, it's definitely passing traffic. There's no doubt about that. But why is it not working for the routing? So we have a retry limit exceeded. I can ping things, but beyond that, I can't do anything else. Let me do, let me try to take and do OSPF instead of EIGRP. So let me do this. So router OSPF 1, and I'm going to type in network of 10.100.0.0/16 area 0, and then network of 172.16.30.0/24, and then area 0. So now that I have all of that done, I should now be able to go to router 9 and do a router OSPF 1 network of 10.100.0.0.0.255.255 area 0. Oh, I didn't. Well, that was a fail. I tried to cover my nose, but I'll just edit that out. So do show IP OSPF neighbor. Okay, I have two-way druther. Okay, that's a start. So let me go on to 10 and do show IP OSPF neighbor. Nothing there. Oh, I didn't do it yet. Let me go on to router OSPF1 network of 10.100.0.0 0.0.255.255 area 0. So I form an OSPF adjacency there. So do show IP OSPF neighbor. I am init druther. Okay, so that's looking up. So we're basically EIGRP is not working. Simple as that. I'm not sure exactly as to why. I will have to dig into that a little bit deeper and see what's going on with that. But needless to say, it is not operational at the moment. So let me see if there's anything in here that I need to worry about. Let's do this real quick. Router EIGRP1 and no auto summary. And let's go to 9 and do show IP EIGRP neighbors. Yeah, that didn't solve it. I was just trying to think if there's anything that I could have overlooked. And it doesn't appear as though I have. So if I do a show OSPF neighbors, I have two neighbors, 9 and so this is saying 10 is saying it's up, and so is do show IP EIGRP neighbors. Yeah, it's not. So I'm just going to turn off EIGRP on these routers and the ASA. So no router EIGRP1. Just for the simplicity fact that it's just not working. So I'm going to go ahead and on test 11, I'm going to go ahead and say router OSPF1 network of 10.100.0.0 0.0.255.255 area 0, and then that forms an adjacency, and then we're going to go over to test 12 and do the exact same thing. Router OSPF1 network of 10.100.0.0 0.0.255.255 area 0. And so that'll get us the routing that we need to have in place as we go through this section here. Actually, no, sorry, that's not correct. Network of 172.16.30.0. So that should form us an OSPF adjacency here momentarily, assuming that I can talk to the ASA, and we're going to do a show run router OSPF. Okay, I have done that, so now test 12 should be. So let's go ahead and type in no router EIGRP1. This will stop all the massive syslog messages that we're seeing here on the ASA, because it's right now it's getting flooded with a bunch of EIGRP hellos, and that's not going to be good. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything, but we don't want it to cause a problem. So we're just going to turn all that off. So now the ASA won't get bombarded with all of that. So if we do a show run router OSPF, You see that we have the 172.16.30 network here, the /24 mask. The same configuration has been applied here, and if we do a do show IP OSPF neighbor, we are in xstart at the moment. Why are we in xstart? That's not good. Do ping 172.16.30.1. We can't talk to it. Okay. Let's see why we can't talk to it. So on the ASA, show ARP. It should be able to reach everything. Oh, what's this? Show interface IP brief. Show run interface gig 0/3.30. VLAN 30, yeah. Ping 172.16.30.12. That's weird. Let's take a look at the routing here. Switch 1. VLAN is there. Switch 7. That is all there. And then switch 2. That's all there. So that should be good. 2 and 3, that's what's supposed to be there. 12 should be showing up. Do show ARP. Well, we clearly have the right MAC addresses. So not sure why that's not working. Let's take a look here. Well, the goal was to get the routing here enabled on the routers to form adjacencies with OSPF or with the ASA, and then for them to dynamically learn the routes, and for server 2 to know its default gateway and to be able to eventually get to the internet. That was the goal of this video, but unfortunately it's not working out the way that I had intended it to. So let me do a show run router OSPF. All of that is squared away. I'm not sure why traffic isn't. Let me do this. Let me go back to switch 1, and on interface range gig 0/0 through 1, let me type in, let me shut those ports down, and I'm going to basically say, I'm going to take the port channel away. So do show run interface gig 0/0. I'm going to say no, and no channel group 1 mode on this guy, and that's going to eliminate that. And I'm going to go ahead and no shut the ports to take it out of the port channel. Normally I would do this, but I would not do a port channel if there was nothing on the north side facing it to do a port channel as well. Because then what you're basically doing is you're sending all the traffic out both interfaces, and that can cause some problems on the backside. So I wonder if that's why OSPF or EIGRP wasn't working. So let me go and do on 12. Okay, there's the adjacency with that guy. So do show IP route, and there's the routes that I was looking for. 11. Do show IP route. That's what that is. Okay, so now that I've got that working, I think I might have figured out what the problem was with the port channel on the switch. One thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the ASA, and just because I want to go see if that had anything to do with the routing, router EIGRP1 and then network of 10.100.0.0/24, and then I'm going to do the same thing on router 9. And then router EIGRP1 network of 10.100.0.0/0.0.255.255. So that forms an adjacency. Do show IP EIGRP neighbors. And okay, there's no queue count. So the port channel probably had something to do with that. Do show IP route on this guy, and we've got that. So okay, I think I might have figured out what the problem was. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on 10. Type in router EIGRP1 network of 10.100.0.0. Do that, and that should form an adjacency. And it did with 9 and 10 right away. I didn't catch that at first, and I apologize about that, but I was able to, okay, what else could there possibly be that shouldn't be, that should be there but isn't? And that's one thing you got to remember is when, if you have a port channel configured on a switch facing an endpoint, and that endpoint is not participating in a port channel, what you're basically doing is you're sending the information upstream to the ASA, and it's going, well, which port do I forward it to, is what it's saying. So in this case here, it was like, dude, you gotta be, you can't do that. Now, if I would have had port channels configured on the ASA, that would have eliminated that problem because everything would come in on one MAC address. So from a recursion perspective, it was going, well, I don't know. So network of 10.100.0.0.0.255.255. So let's just form that, and it does. So now I can go to 12 and router EIGRP1 network of 172.16.30.0/24 or wildcard mask. And then on ASA1, I can go until, we'll do show EIGRP neighbor. And we have 3 neighbors. So we'll be able to type in network of 172.16. So one thing I want you to see right too, it says EIGRP request discarded from 172.16.30.12 on this interface. The reason why it was discarded is because I don't have a network statement enabled on the ASA in order to accept that. So I'll 30.0/24. So as soon as I put this statement in, then you'll see the adjacency pop up. Until the interface is enabled to send and receive EIGRP hellos, the adjacency will not, the hellos will not be received, they'll be blocked, and you won't be able to form an adjacency. So now with all of that said, now I have to go on EIGRP and type in redistribute OSPF 1 metric of 1 gigabit, and I'm going to do 10 microseconds or just one increment of it. 100% reliable, a low load, and an MTU of 1500. And then I'm going to type in router OSPF 1 and type in redistribute EIGRP 1 subnets. Okay, so now that that's all squared away, I'm going to go ahead and on router 12, I'm going to type in do show IP route, and we should have, let me turn OSPF off here, so no router OSPF 1. And there's our EIGRP external routes. Now, part of this that comes into play that we need to understand is you notice how our default route has gone away now? So that's part of the problem with this. In order for this to happen, which eventually it should propagate a default route, which is actually interesting here. If we look at the, let's say, exit out of here and type in no logging enable, just to eliminate some of the noise on the console. If we do a show route OSPF, we're going to see the OSPF routes coming in, and we get a default route. There is a gateway of last resort. If we do a show route EIGRP, we're not getting any EIGRP routes, I'm sorry, we are learning EIGRP routes. So if we do a show EIGRP topology, we don't see a default route, right? So one of the things we're going to have to do is on router EIGRP1, when we do a redistribute command, redistribute OSPF 1 metric of, let's show run router OSPF, or sorry, EIGRP. We're going to grab this command right here, and we should be able to match on external, redistribute external OSPF routes. If you don't add that command in there, it won't actually be able to take the routes in. So we're going to do that now. So now if we do a show IP EIGRP topology, so show EIGRP topology. you should now see on 12 why did that backfired on me. Do show IP route. Oh, no router OSPF 1 and no router OSPF 1 and no router OSPF 1. So back on 12. Oh, sorry, I need to do this. On ASA 1, I need to match external and internal. So before I was only matching the, why is it not propagating the default? It should be propagating the default because we do a show OSPF database. We have a default route coming from the upstream router. We do have a default route. If we look in the routing table, show route, we have a default route via OSPF. Well, actually, via static route. Oh, that's why. I forgot about that. So we go in here, we type in show run route. We'd say no route outside. Let's go do that. That's part of the reason why it's not doing it. Go ahead and pull that out. Okay, so that is no longer propagating show route. Now we're learning the OSPF external route. Then we go and we do a show EIGRP topology. Now the egress route, that's what I was looking for right here. There should be a redistributed default route, and if I go to 12 now, hit the up arrow, now the external route is there, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. So now I should be able to do ping 8.8.8.8, and I can. That means that I can reach out to the internet, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. Now, with that being said, I should be able to come on here, click in here, and oh, you know why? I know why there's no internet access. Because if I go to Ethernet and I go to properties and I click on IPv4 and properties, I don't have a DNS entry in here. So I'm going to type in 127.0.0.1 and then 8.8.8.8. Click OK, close, and then it's going to go out, and momentarily, if I go in here and ping 10.255.1.1, I can ping that through the ASA. And then if I go to ping, say Google, I can ping that as well. With me being able to ping that, I should be able to ping google.com. And now it's working. So now that I have internet to the server, you can actually tell just over my left shoulder, right here, right there, I have internet access, which is working right there. So I have internet access now. So that's exactly what I was looking for before. So now I should be able to do all kinds of testing in that regard. So that's what I was trying to get to before, but it was the port channel that goofed me up. So I'm actually happy a lot of this stuff happens because you get to see me work through the problem and figure out why stuff isn't working and stuff like that, and resolve the issue. So that resolved the problem. And now that we've gotten some basic routing in place, we're going to leave it in play for just a little bit, because there's going to be some access to connectivity and stuff like that that we're going to have to play around with. We've looked at OSPF, we've looked at EIGRP. One of the things that I'm going to do now in the upcoming video is play around with some DHCP and stuff like that. That'll be one of our next goals. Is we've done static routing, dynamic routing with EIGRP and OSPF. BGP will come later on when we get through what do you call it? I'm not even sure what EIGRP or what BGP supports on the ASA. So router BGP 1 and neighbor, or I'm sorry, address family IPv4 unicast, and then neighbor, say 2.2.2.2. Is the update source available? It is not. Okay, so I can't do. Okay, so that'll make it a little bit more interesting to do stuff. And the reason why it doesn't have that is because there's no such thing as a loopback on an ASA. So if I was to try to exit out of here and type in interface loopback, there's no such thing as a loopback. I can do iBGP all day long inside of this. So I might just do a basic BGP peering to get a default route down the road. Matter of fact, I might do that in the next video, just to do some basic BGP. Because we're 35 minutes in now. I don't want to go any longer than that. So yeah, everything's working as it needs to be right now, and everything is operational. As far as I'm concerned, we're good to go with everything that we've done so far. And until next time, guys, take it easy.